What if I told you that at this very moment a ticking time bomb is lurking in space? One so powerful, it could wipe out life on Earth in an instant. No, it's not an asteroid or a rogue planet, it's something far more explosive. A supernova. These stellar explosions unleash more energy in seconds than our sun will produce in its entire lifetime. But how close would one have to be to actually end us? And are there any stars near Earth that are on the edge of destruction? Buckle up because this is about to get intense. What is a supernova? Imagine this, a massive star, burning bright for millions of years, suddenly explodes with the force of 1 billion nuclear bombs. One moment it's there, shining in the night sky, and the next, boom! It erupts in a spectacular explosion, outshining entire galaxies. That, my friends, is a supernova, one of the most powerful and destructive events in the universe. But why does this happen? Well, stars aren't immortal. They live, they burn, and eventually they die. When a massive star at least 8 times the size of our sun runs out of fuel, it can no longer hold itself together. Gravity takes over, crushing the core in an instant. This triggers an explosion so powerful that it sends shockwaves across space, scattering elements that will later form new stars, planets, and even life itself. And get this, supernovae are the reason we exist. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, even the gold in your jewelry, all came from the heart of an exploding star. Pretty wild, right? But here's the real question. Could a supernova wipe out life on Earth? How close would it need to be? And are there any ticking time bombs lurking in our cosmic neighborhood? Stick around because things are about to get even crazier. Potential threat to Earth. Alright, let's get to the big question. Could a supernova actually wipe us out? The short answer, yes, but only if it's close enough. The real danger zone is about 25 light-years from Earth. If a star within this range explodes, we could be in serious trouble. But how exactly? First, say goodbye to the ozone layer, our planet's protective shield against harmful space radiation. A nearby supernova would blast Earth with high-energy gamma rays and X-rays, stripping away the ozone like peeling off a fragile layer of skin. And once that's gone, deadly ultraviolet rays from the sun would flood the surface, increasing radiation levels and mutating DNA. Imagine crops failing, ecosystems collapsing, and a world suddenly more hostile to life. And that's not even the worst part. Supernovae also unleash a cosmic tsunami of charged particles, bombarding Earth's atmosphere for thousands of years. This could disrupt weather patterns, trigger climate shifts, and even spark mass extinctions, just like the ones that might have happened millions of years ago. So, should we be worried? Well, let's just say we're keeping an eye on a few stars that could go boom any day now. And trust me, you'll want to know which ones are on that list. Historical supernovae. Believe it or not, Earth has already been hit by the echoes of supernovae, and the evidence is hiding right beneath our feet. Scientists have discovered traces of iron-60, a rare radioactive isotope, buried deep in ocean sediments and Antarctic ice. Why is this important? Because iron-60 doesn't naturally occur on Earth, it comes from exploding stars. Around 2 to 3 million years ago, a series of supernovae went off just 150 light-years away, practically next door in cosmic terms. These blasts likely showered Earth with radiation, possibly triggering climate changes, and even contributing to an ancient marine extinction. Imagine massive cosmic waves of energy sweeping across space, subtly reshaping life as we know it. And let's not forget the supernova of 1054 AD, one of the brightest cosmic events ever witnessed by humans. Ancient Chinese and Arab astronomers recorded a mysterious guest star that shone so brightly, it was visible in daylight for weeks. That explosion left behind the famous Crab Nebula, a swirling remnant still expanding today. So while we've never experienced a doomsday-level supernova, the scars of past stellar explosions are all around us, in the rocks, in the sky, and maybe even in our own evolutionary history. The real question is, when's the next one coming? Current nearby supernova candidates. Alright, here's the big question. Are there any stars out there just waiting to explode? The answer, yes. And some of them are closer than you'd like. Let's start with the most famous ticking time bomb, Betelgeuse. You've seen it before, it's the bright reddish star in Orion's shoulder. And guess what? It's on its last breath. Astronomers have been watching it closely because it's been dimming unpredictably, which could mean it's getting ready to go boom! But before you panic, Betelgeuse is about 640 light-years away, too far to hurt us when it finally explodes. But when it does, it'll shine so brightly that we could see it during the day for weeks. Another dangerous suspect? Eta Carinae. This monster star, 100 times the mass of the Sun, has already had a near-explosion event in the 1800s. It's unstable, unpredictable, and one of the best candidates for the next supernova in our galaxy. The good news? It's 7,500 light-years away. A safe distance, but still close enough to be spectacular. So, should we be worried? Not yet. The most dangerous supernova would have to be within 25 light-years to really mess with Earth, and right now, we don't have any stars in that danger zone. But the universe is full of surprises, and space is a very unpredictable place. Frequency of dangerous supernovae. So, how often does a supernova actually threaten Earth? Should we be looking up at the sky in fear, waiting for the next cosmic explosion to wipe us out? The good news? Not really. The bad news? It has happened before. Astronomers estimate that a supernova explodes somewhere in the Milky Way about once every 50 years. But for a supernova to be close enough to harm Earth, meaning within 25 light-years, that's much, much rarer. Studies suggest that an extinction-level supernova happens only once every 100 million years or so. That's about the same frequency as major asteroid impacts. So, while it's possible, it's not something we need to lose sleep over. The last time Earth might have felt the effects of a nearby supernova was around 2 to 3 million years ago. Some researchers believe it played a role in cooling the planet, and even influencing early human evolution. But as far as a true civilization-ending event, it's unlikely to happen in our lifetimes. So, while the idea of a nearby supernova wiping us out is terrifying, the universe isn't that cruel, at least not yet. But hey, space is full of surprises, and we're just tiny passengers on this cosmic ride. Gamma-ray bursts. Alright, forget supernovae for a second. There's something even scarier lurking in the universe. Something so powerful, it could wipe out life on Earth in seconds without warning. Meet the gamma-ray burst. Gamma-ray bursts are like supercharged cosmic death rays. When some massive stars explode or when two neutron stars collide, they unleash an ultra-powerful beam of radiation that can travel across galaxies. If Earth were ever caught in the crosshairs of one, game over. Unlike a regular supernova, which mostly affects its surroundings, a GRB fires a focused beam of deadly gamma radiation in a straight line, frying everything in its path. If one of these bursts hit Earth, it could strip away the ozone layer, exposing us to lethal UV radiation from the sun. Within days, crops would fail, ecosystems would collapse, and mass extinctions could begin. Scary, right? The good news? Most GRBs happen in distant galaxies, far from us. The bad news? If a GRB were to erupt within 6,000 light-years of Earth and its beam was pointed our way, we'd have zero warning. 1 second life is normal, the next the planet is bathed in deadly radiation. So, are we safe? For now. But space is unpredictable and the universe isn't exactly known for playing fair. So, should we be worried about a supernova wiping us out? Probably not anytime soon. But the universe is full of surprises and space is far more unpredictable than we think. One thing's for sure, our planet is just a tiny speck in a vast, explosive cosmos. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the mysteries of space, make sure to subscribe to InnoVision Tech for more mind-blowing science and futuristic tech content. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and let's keep exploring the universe together. Imagine waking up one day, only to realize the universe itself has turned against us. No warnings, no second chances, just pure, unstoppable destruction. From fiery solar explosions to invisible death rays from space, the cosmos is filled with forces powerful enough to wipe out humanity in an instant. Scary? Absolutely. But what's even scarier? Some of these threats are completely unpredictable. Today, we're diving into the 7 most terrifying cosmic events that could end life as we know it. So buckle up, because once you hear these, you might never look at the night sky the same way again. Asteroid impacts. Imagine this, you're enjoying your morning coffee, scrolling through your phone, when suddenly, news headlines scream, "Massive asteroid detected on a collision course with Earth." Panic sets in, scientists scramble, governments go silent, and all you can do is watch as a giant space rock, possibly the size of a city, barrels toward our planet at tens of thousands of miles per hour. Sounds like a sci-fi movie, right? But here's the terrifying truth. This has happened before, and it could happen again. 65 million years ago, an asteroid roughly 6 miles wide slammed into what is now the Yucatan Peninsula, triggering a firestorm that wiped out the dinosaurs. If something similar happened today, the results would be even more catastrophic. The impact would unleash energy equivalent to billions of nuclear bombs. First, there'd be an explosion so powerful that anything within hundreds of miles of ground zero would be instantly vaporized. Shockwaves would rip through the planet, causing massive earthquakes and tsunamis that could swallow entire coastlines. But the worst part? The aftermath. Dust and debris would fill the atmosphere, blocking out the sun for months, maybe even years. Temperatures would plummet, crops would fail, a global winter could starve millions, and the scary part? We've had close calls. Asteroids like Apophis and 2012 DA-14 have brushed past Earth in recent years. NASA and other space agencies monitor these threats, but not all of them are detected in time. So, what if the one that ends us is already on its way? Gamma-ray bursts. Imagine waking up one morning, stepping outside, and feeling an eerie silence. No birds chirping, no wind, just an unsettling stillness. Then, in an instant, a blinding flash erupts in the sky. You don't hear a sound, but in that moment, the fate of Earth is sealed. You've just witnessed a gamma-ray burst, one of the most violent and deadly phenomena in the universe. Gamma-ray bursts are cosmic death rays, unleashed when massive stars collapse into black holes, or when neutron stars violently merge. These bursts can release more energy in a few seconds than the sun will in its entire lifetime. If a GRB were to occur in our galactic neighborhood, and was aimed directly at Earth, it would be like setting off 1 billion nuclear bombs. But instead of an explosion, the danger comes from invisible radiation. The first thing it would do is strip away our ozone layer, the only thing protecting us from deadly space radiation. Without it, ultraviolet rays from the sun would scorch the planet, leading to mass extinctions. Plants would wither, animals would die, and humans, well, let's just say sunscreen won't save you. Scientists believe that a past gamma-ray burst may have caused a mass extinction event on Earth hundreds of millions of years ago. The scariest part? We wouldn't even see it coming. It would travel at the speed of light, and by the time we noticed it, it'd already be over. Supernova explosions. We think of stars as distant, twinkling lights in the sky, but don't be fooled. Some of them are ticking time bombs, and when one of these colossal stars reaches the end of its life, it goes out with a bang. Literally. A supernova explosion is one of the most powerful forces in the universe, capable of outshining entire galaxies. But if a nearby star were to go supernova, it wouldn't just be a spectacle, it would be our doom. The first thing that would happen? A deadly burst of radiation. X-rays and gamma rays would flood our planet, damaging DNA, causing mutations, and wiping out entire species. But the real horror starts in the atmosphere. The blast would shred our ozone layer, leaving us vulnerable to the sun's lethal radiation. In a matter of months, crops would fail, food chains would collapse, and survival would become a desperate fight against a planet turning hostile. So, how close would a star need to be to threaten us? Scientists say about 50 light-years away. Thankfully, no known stars that close are expected to explode anytime soon. But space is unpredictable. Betelgeuse, one of the largest stars visible in our night sky, is a prime supernova candidate. And while it's far enough away to not directly harm us, it serves as a chilling reminder. Somewhere, sometime, a supernova will happen close enough to spell our end. The only question is, when? Rogue black holes. We've all heard of black holes, massive invisible monsters lurking in space, devouring everything that comes too close. But what if I told you there are rogue black holes, wandering the galaxy like cosmic predators, unseen and unstoppable? One could be heading our way right now and we'd have no idea. Unlike the supermassive black holes at the centers of galaxies, rogue black holes are smaller but no less terrifying. They drift through space after being ejected from their home systems, traveling at mind-blowing speeds. If one were to pass through our solar system, it wouldn't need to suck us in to destroy us. Its immense gravity could distort planetary orbits, sending Earth spiraling toward the sun or hurling us into the cold abyss of deep space. Either way, life as we know it would be over. And the scariest part? We can't easily detect them. Black holes don't emit light, making them nearly impossible to spot against the darkness of space. Scientists estimate that there could be millions of these nomadic nightmares roaming the Milky Way. So while we gaze at the stars, wondering what lies beyond, an unseen destroyer might already be approaching, and by the time we realize it, escape will be impossible. Solar superflares. The sun, our life-giving star, the reason we exist, But what if the very thing keeping us alive suddenly turned against us? Imagine waking up to a world without electricity, no internet, no phones, no running water, no cars, a complete and total blackout. This isn't a dystopian fantasy, it's what could happen if the sun unleashed a solar superflare. Solar flares are bursts of energy from the sun, and while we experience small ones regularly, a superflare would be a completely different beast. If one were to hit Earth, the first thing we'd notice is an eerie, ghostly aurora lighting up the sky, even in places that never see the northern lights. Beautiful? Yes. Terrifying? Absolutely. Because within hours the radiation would fry satellites, knock out power grids, and disrupt everything from GPS to banking systems. But that's just the start. A powerful enough solar storm could heat up the atmosphere, expand it, and cause space debris and satellites to spiral downward, crashing back to Earth. The worst-case scenario? The Carrington event, a solar storm that hit Earth in 1859, was so powerful that telegraph wires caught fire. If something that's strong or worse happened today, it would send us back to the Dark Ages. Billions could struggle to survive without power, food supply chains would collapse, and modern civilization as we know it would be on the brink of total chaos. The sun gives life, but one bad flare and it could take it all away. Cosmic collisions. We tend to think of space as an endless void, but in reality, it's a cosmic battlefield. A place where galaxies, stars, and planets are constantly moving, sometimes colliding in spectacularly destructive ways. And Earth? We're just a tiny, fragile speck caught in the middle of it all. Now you might be thinking, how could we possibly collide with something out there? Space is massive. Well, tell that to the Andromeda Galaxy, which is currently on a direct collision course with the Milky Way. That's right, our entire galaxy is set to merge with Andromeda in about 4.5 billion years. When that happens, stars will be ripped apart, solar systems will be flung into the void, and Earth could be thrown out of orbit entirely. But we don't need to wait billions of years for destruction. There are rogue planets, massive, Jupiter-sized worlds that have been ejected from their home systems, wandering aimlessly through space. If one of these dark, frozen giants passed too close to our solar system, it could alter the orbits of planets, sending Earth tumbling toward the sun, or out into deep space where we'd freeze to death. Space isn't just vast, it's dangerous. And the worst part? These collisions don't announce themselves, they just happen. Vacuum decay. Alright, buckle up, because this one is the most mind-bending of them all. Forget asteroids, black holes, or gamma-ray bursts. This is the end of everything. The universe as we know it might not be stable. In fact, some physicists believe that we're living in what's called a false vacuum, a delicate, temporary state that could collapse at any moment. And when it does, game over. It's called vacuum decay, and it starts with a quantum event so random, so unpredictable, that it could have already happened somewhere in the universe. If it did, it would create a tiny bubble of true vacuum, expanding at the speed of light. The moment this bubble reaches us, reality as we know it ceases to exist. No warning, no escape, just instant annihilation. Imagine looking at the night sky and suddenly, nothing. The stars blink out, the planets vanish, and in less than a fraction of a second, the laws of physics rewrite themselves. The terrifying part, there's no way to predict it, there's no way to stop it. It could happen a billion years from now, or right now, and if it did, you wouldn't even have time to realize it. 1 second you're here, the next, you're erased from existence along with everything else. Sounds terrifying, right? But hey, at least with vacuum decay we'd never see it coming. So, sweet dreams if you can still sleep after this. Space is vast, beautiful, and absolutely terrifying. While these cosmic threats sound like something out of a sci-fi movie, they're very real possibilities, though thankfully most are unlikely to happen anytime soon. But the more we explore the universe, the better we can prepare for the unknown. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the mysteries of space, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more mind-blowing science and tech content. This is InnoVision Tech, and we'll see you in the next video, if the universe doesn't get us first. What if I told you that for just 1 second, everything stopped? Not just your clock, not just your phone, but time itself, the entire universe frozen in place. No movement, no sound, no light, just complete stillness. Sounds insane, right? But here's the real question. What would actually happen if time stopped for just 1 second? Would you feel it? Would the world change? Or would we never even know? Stick around, because what you're about to hear will make you question everything you thought you knew about reality. Are you ready to dive into the impossible? Let's find out. The nature of time and perception. Imagine if time suddenly stopped, just for a single second. Sounds harmless, right? But hold on, because time isn't just a ticking clock. It's the very thing that keeps reality in motion. From the way we breathe to the way light travels, everything is governed by time. But what if, for a brief moment, time completely froze? Would we even notice it? Well, here's the crazy part. You wouldn't. Your brain, like everything else, relies on time to function. Every thought, every memory, every movement you make depends on time moving forward. If time paused, so would your neurons. Your brain wouldn't even get the chance to register that something strange had happened. Imagine blinking, but in that brief moment everything, your heartbeat, your thoughts, even the air around you, completely stopped. And yet, when time resumed, you'd continue as if nothing had happened. Think about it like a video game freezing for a second due to lag. The game doesn't realize it's frozen, it just picks up where it left off. The same would happen to you. But here's a fun twist. If time stopped, would light stop too? That means, even if your eyes were open, you wouldn't see anything. The entire world would be trapped in absolute darkness for that one frozen second. And if we go deeper, this raises an even wilder question. If time stopped, but you somehow remained aware, would you feel like you were stuck in eternity? 1 second might stretch into an infinite abyss. Spooky, right? Luckily, your brain won't let you experience that. So, in reality, the biggest mystery of all is, did time ever stop before, and if it did, how would we even know? Physical implications of a time freeze. Let's say, time halts. You're in the middle of drinking coffee and suddenly, BAM! Time stops. The coffee mid-air freezes, the steam rising from the cup, suspended like an invisible sculpture. But the real question is, what happens on a deeper level? First off, all movement in the universe would come to a standstill. Atoms would stop vibrating, which means heat would cease to exist. Every object from your body to the sun would instantly drop to absolute zero. But here's the twist, you wouldn't feel cold. Why? Because you wouldn't even be able to process the change. Your nerves wouldn't work, your brain wouldn't function, and even your very thoughts would be put on hold. Then, there's light. Light moves at 299,792,458 meters per second. But if time stopped, light wouldn't move at all. That means the entire universe would be trapped in absolute darkness. Even if the sun was shining, its rays wouldn't reach your eyes until time resumed. Imagine someone flipping a switch and shutting off all light instantly. Except in this case, it's not just the lights in your room, it's every photon in existence. And here's where it gets weirder. What about air? Normally, air molecules zip around, allowing you to breathe. But if time froze, they'd stop moving too. That means for that 1 second, oxygen wouldn't reach your lungs, but don't panic. You wouldn't suffocate because, well, your lungs wouldn't be working either. Time would unfreeze, and you'd continue as if nothing happened. So, the next time you take a deep breath, look at the sky, or feel warmth on your skin, just remember, time is what makes it all possible. And if it ever stopped, even for just a second, the entire universe would hold its breath with you. Biological effects on living organisms. Let's talk about life itself. Your heart, your breath, your very existence. Everything in your body depends on time moving forward. But what happens if time stops for just 1 second? Would you feel it? Would it harm you? Here's the surprising answer: no, you wouldn't feel a thing. That's because the biological processes inside you are just as tied to time as everything else. Your heart beats, your blood flows, and your cells divide. All of these depend on time's steady movement. If time stops, so do you. It's like hitting the pause button on a movie. Nothing changes, but nothing moves either. Your body would be frozen in place, your brain would stop thinking, and even your sense of awareness would be suspended. And here's the freaky part. If everything about you stopped, you wouldn't even know time had paused in the first place. Your body wouldn't age, your cells wouldn't decay, and technically you wouldn't even be alive in that moment, but once time resumes, your body picks up right where it left off, as if nothing ever happened. But here's where things get really strange. Imagine you're blinking right when time stops. Your eyelids would freeze mid-motion, leaving your vision locked in place. If you were walking, your muscles would be frozen in action, defying physics for just a split second. And what about people in mid-sneeze? Would they be stuck with the world's longest ah-chew? The truth is, time's flow is what keeps all living things functioning. If time ever stopped, even briefly, life itself would hold its breath, waiting for the next second to arrive. And yet, because we experience time so seamlessly, we'll never know if it's already happened before. Technological and mechanical consequences. Now let's talk about the world around us. Machines, vehicles, the internet, and all the technology we rely on daily. If time stopped, would your phone glitch? Would planes fall from the sky? Would your favorite video game freeze mid-frame? The short answer, yes, but only for that brief second. Every piece of technology we use operates based on time. Clocks tick forward, computers process data, and electricity flows through circuits. All of it requires time to function, so if time stopped, everything electronic would pause too. Your phone screen would freeze mid-scroll, your Wi-Fi would halt, and even the electrical signals running through power lines would be suspended. Now, here's a mind-blowing thought. Cars, planes, and trains all rely on movement through time. If time stops, a speeding car wouldn't crash, because it wouldn't be moving at all in that moment. A plane in midair would hang in place, defying gravity for that 1 second. The entire world would be a frozen snapshot, paused in perfect stillness. And what about artificial intelligence? Could a supercomputer realize that time had paused? Not a chance. Just like our brains, AI needs time to process information. If time stops, it stops thinking too. It wouldn't detect the pause because, in its reality, there was no pause. The moment time resumes, it continues processing as if nothing happened. And here's where it gets even wilder. Would digital timekeeping devices skip a second, or would they stay perfectly accurate? Since they rely on electrical pulses that measure time, a 1-second stop might throw them off ever so slightly. But in a world where time is back on track, who would even notice? So the next time your computer lags or your phone screen freezes for a second, just ask yourself, what if time actually did stop for a second and we all just missed it? Psychological and philosophical considerations. Alright, let's get deep for a second. If time stops, do we stop existing? Think about it. Our entire experience of reality is tied to time. Every thought, memory, and feeling happens in a sequence. But what if time itself was put on pause? Would we even be aware of it? Here's the trippy part. You wouldn't even realize that time had stopped. Your consciousness, your awareness, your very sense of self would be frozen, just like everything else. It's like someone pressing pause on the universe. The second time resumes, everything picks up where it left off, and you have no clue anything ever happened. It's a bit unsettling, isn't it? Now let's push this even further. What if time has already stopped before? Maybe it pauses for a second every few thousand years and we just don't know it. Maybe right now, time has stopped, and you're frozen in place, unable to perceive the stillness. And the moment it resumes, well, you're right back to reading this sentence as if nothing happened. Then there's the ultimate question. If time stops, does reality still exist? Time and space are deeply connected, meaning if time ceases, does the universe even remain? It's a classic philosophical paradox. Does reality require time to exist, or could the universe just hang in place, waiting to move again? And if we go even crazier, what if time isn't real at all? What if time is just a human-made construct and the universe moves in ways we can't even comprehend? Maybe we're living in a cosmic illusion where time is just an illusion of motion. If that's the case, then stopping time wouldn't just freeze the world. It might break the very foundation of reality itself. 1 second. That's all it would take to change everything. Or maybe it already has. Theoretical physics perspectives. Now let's get scientific, because if anyone can explain what happens when time stops, it's physicists. But here's the kicker. According to physics, time stopping shouldn't even be possible. Time isn't just a background setting, it's woven into the very fabric of the universe, tied to space itself. Stopping time would mean disrupting space-time, which could have insane consequences. For starters, Einstein's theory of relativity tells us that time is relative. It speeds up or slows down depending on gravity and motion. But completely stopping time? That's next level. If time froze, space-time itself would be affected. Would the universe continue existing in a paused state? Would everything collapse into chaos? And let's talk about quantum mechanics, the science of the tiniest particles. On a quantum level, particles are always in motion, constantly shifting and vibrating. If time stopped, these particles would freeze in place. That means no atomic activity, no light movement, no energy transfers, literally nothing happening. It's a complete shutdown of the universe at its most fundamental level. But wait, it gets weirder. Some physicists argue that time is just an illusion. According to certain theories, time isn't something that moves. It's just a way we perceive changes in the universe. If that's true, then stopping time wouldn't actually do anything, because there's nothing to stop in the first place. Mind blown yet? So let's sum this up. If time stops everything, energy, motion, thought, light, ceases. But since time itself is part of space-time, freezing time might be impossible without breaking reality itself. And if it ever did happen, we wouldn't even know. So the real question is, what if time has already stopped, but we're just living in its resumed state? What if we're part of a cosmic play button being pressed over and over? Maybe time itself is the biggest mystery of all, and we're just along for the ride. And that, my friends, is the mind-bending reality of time. Did time ever stop before? Would we even know? The universe is full of mysteries, and this is just the beginning. If you love diving into mind-blowing theories like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. What do you think would happen if time stopped? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This is InnoVision Tech, and I'll see you in the next one.